Shalom, family. This is Grammy Yah. Did someone say canning meatballs? Really? Yes, I am getting ready to can meatballs, you guys. This is my first time, and this may be your first time ever seeing it. So, hey, this is going to be trial and error, but I think we're going to have a successful canning meatball session, okay? So, without further ado, we're going to need our debubbler. And if you don't have this, you can use a plastic knife, okay? But never use anything that is steel, okay? We're going to need our jar lifter, funnel, our teaspoon, tablespoon, our measuring spoons. We're going to need vinegar. We're going to need canning and pickling salt or sea salt. Never use the table salt, okay? We're going to use beef broth. I got this beef broth from Dollar Tree. Some Italian seasonings, black pepper, onions, granulated onions, and granulated garlic, okay? But you can use what you want to use. This is one of those kind of recipes that you can do it to your taste. And guess what, you guys? Someone gifted me. Yes, I love gifts. But the best gifts are the ones that you have no idea that is coming. So I got gifted with some ball. These are 1.5 pints, you guys. This guy, he said he has some around his house, and he decided to send them to me. Yes, I've never, ever seen the 1.5 pints jars, you guys. I even went on the internet looking for them, and I've never seen them in the store. So I just want to thank you for giving me a gift. See, I'm a giver, so when I get gifts, I don't know how to act, okay? So yeah, so look, this is a 1.5 pints, you guys, but we're going to treat this jar as a quart jar, okay? So if you do have a 1.5 pints jar, use it the measurements as a quart jar, okay? And so what I did was I dropped, because I only have 4. I put them in my canner, and wait a minute. I put them in my canner, and this is a quart jar. So I just line them up in my canner just to see how many I can get in my canner. So I'll be able to get 8 jars in my 23 quart canner, you guys. Yes, because of these are tall and narrow. So if I had 9 of these, I do believe that I could get 9 of them in there. So anyway, yes. So I just want to thank you for sending me some ball jars. So, okay. And I have my lids back here and my rings. And my almost 10 pounds of ground beef, you guys. And this one is 90% lean and 10% fat. But I have this, so some say that the more fat you have, the better it is to roll into meatballs. But we're going to see, okay? So I'm going to bring you back when I get this all open and put in a bowl. All right, I have my ground beef in a large bowl, you guys. Yes, so I'm just going to start adding my seasonings. You know, I can't really tell you the exact measurement, but I can just give you like maybe an estimate. Maybe like a tablespoon of garlic, but you do it by your taste buds, okay? Some of the stuff you might not even like, so just make it your own, okay? Put a little bit of, that was onion powder. I'm just gonna throw a little bit of black pepper, not a lot. So I say a tablespoon of each seasoning minus the black pepper, maybe like 1 teaspoon. And I'm gonna go a little heavy on the Italian season. I don't know if I told you I'm using the Italian season because I'm looking for Italian meatball. So that's probably about 3 tablespoons. But if you don't want Italian meatballs, you don't have to use the Italian seasoning. And I'm not going to add any salt in this. I'm going to add salt later in my jars, but not a lot of salt. So what I'm going to do is just start trying to incorporate all my seasonings into my ground beef. Okay, I would love to put fresh onions in here, but with onions, you guys, your meatballs will fall apart. Green peppers, your meatball will fall apart. We don't want to add any fillers or binders. I've seen people add eggs. I'm not comfortable adding eggs into my canning process because the National Food Preservation said not to. So I'm going to try to follow them as close that I can. But I believe that we can get these meatballs all seasoned and bind together. So once I get all my seasons in, I'm really not going to give you no measurements on the season. You just season to your taste. And because I'm going to use the beef broth, so I'll be making like just regular meatballs to go on spaghetti. I'll be also using these meatballs for like noodles and gravy with meatballs. So yeah, so just think about what you're going to use your meatballs for, and then just add your seasons that that you think that will work. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back once I get all this these seasonings incorporated, and I'm gonna bring you back so we can start rolling them. Okay. All right, you guys, I have my seasonings all incorporated into my ground beef. I added more seasonings. I added some more Italian seasonings. I added more garlic powder, onion powder, some more pepper, but I didn't add salt. I'm going to add my salt later because as far as salt concerned, you can add salt later. You don't even have to put salt in your canning jars, but I'm going to put a little bit in my canning jars because you can always add salt, but you can't take away the salt. So you don't have to do salt at all. And I looked on the back of this beef broth. There's salt in here as well. So be very, very careful. Read your labels. Okay, so let's see what size meatballs we're going to get. Look, I really think that's too big. I like my meatballs a little smaller. You can make the meatballs the size that you like, but I like that size right there. I like that. That's about like a 1.5 inch size. Yeah, size. Yeah, it's just roll your meatballs and put them on a pan lined with aluminum foil, you guys. I got my oven set to 400. I'm gonna get these meatballs all rolled up. Set my oven on 400. I'm gonna do 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, this is 90 meatballs. It took a minute, okay? And look, I still have a lot of ground beef. So if I ever do it again, oh, it's heavy too. If I ever do it again, I think I'm gonna start out with just 5 pounds. So I'm gonna take it to the oven. Ooh, put it in the oven, you guys. And I'm going to check it in 15 minutes to see if I like how they turn out. All right, here's another pan. I gotta get the rolling. Gotta make the donuts. All right, my first batch is out of the oven. So I did 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Yes, 15 minutes. And the reason why I went with the 400 degrees because I wanted that high heat to take my meatballs and to put a crust on them. They have a nice hard outer layer. So when I do put them in the jar, they have that protective coating around them when I put my beef broth in it. So let me show you guys what they look like. Voila. Don't they look delicious? And like I said, you can make them larger if you like, but I just like those bite-sized ones. And this is 90, you guys, 90. And then I have 70 here. What's that, 160 so far? And I still got ground beef. Okay, family, I am finally finished rolling meatballs. I was up to my elbows in meatballs, okay? So now here are all my meatballs, you guys. I have 258 meatballs. Yes, 258 meatballs. But remember, I have the small ones, so you won't get that much if you're making them bigger, right? So let's try it. Okay? Look at that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try it, you guys. Let me put a little bit of salt on it. And the inside is still pink. That's fine. And you want the inside to be pink. That's okay, because what's going to happen is they're going to be in the canner for 90 minutes, so they will finish cooking. So I don't eat pink meat, so I'm just going to go on the outside and just taste a little bit of the brown. That is so good. That is so delicious. Look at my finger. That is so good, you guys. Okay, so let me start loading up my jars, but let me wash my hands real quick. That was delicious. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start with the pint and a half, you guys, and I'm gonna count them just to see how many
I can get in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm not gonna push them down in there, but I was able to get 23 in here, you guys. And you don't want to push them down because you don't want to break up your meatballs, okay? Yeah, 23. So let's try the quart-size jars. And they are room temperature. They're just room temperature. They don't have any heat on it at all. So let's see how many I get in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30.
I'm gonna stop at 30 because I don't want to push them down. So yeah, so here we go. So now what we're gonna do is, I never added salt, you guys. So now I'm gonna add my salt. And like I said, you can always take away, you can always add salt, but you can't take salt out. So I'm just gonna use a half a teaspoon in my meatballs, just a half a teaspoon. You don't have to add any. You can just add salt later on, okay? So I got my half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to fill up my beef broth. Fill up my jars with beef broth and leave that 1-inch headspace, okay? 1-inch headspace. I don't know how many jars I'm going to be able to fill, but I'm going to keep on going until they are filled. So now what you want to do is take your debubbler. You always have to, something went in here. You always have to debubble, but because you have meatballs and they may fall apart, just make sure you go down the sides, you guys. Just go down the sides of the jar because you don't want to break up your meatball. Okay, let me bring it closer. Always want to debubble. Yes, okay? Yeah, so I have this 1-inch headspace. And by me debubbling you guys, I'm going to have to add a little bit more broth because those air bubbles came to the top. Okay? And same with this jar. Okay? Just make sure you go down the sides. Do not go down the middle. We're trying to keep our meatballs intact. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little bit broth to the 1-inch headspace. And that's it. So now I'm just going to take my vinegar. And because we're working with ground beef, you always definitely want to use this vinegar because this vinegar will cut grease just in case if grease got on your rims, okay? So, yeah. But I use vinegar no matter what I'm canning. I use vinegar because I just don't want to take any chances, okay? And so there you go. So my broth is room temperature. My meatballs is room temperature. The water in my canner is going to be room temperature, okay? So I'm going to put my lids on it. And I'm just going to close it fingertip tight. Just as tight as you can get it with just your fingertips. We're not going to like bend down on it like that. No. We're going to just take it just fingertip tight. It is a difference. So let me finish filling up my jars and I'll bring you back. I have all my jars filled, you guys. So the leftover vinegar that I have, probably about 2 tablespoons, I'm going to throw it in my canner. I have room temperature water in my canner. There is a line in there to show me exactly where my water should stop. If you don't have a line and you have the Presto 23 quart, 3-quart jars will be suffice, okay? So I'm going to load up my jars. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? So yeah, so I'm going to see exactly what I can get in here. That was the quart jar. So I got the 1.5 pints in quart jars. And since I'm using different sizes, we always want to go to the amount of the bigger jars. So if it's 90 minutes for quarts, we got to go 90 minutes. Okay? Because I've never seen a 1.5 pints jar, so I'm going to take this to 90 minutes. And yeah, and I was able to get all of them in there. So I was able to get 8 jars in here. That is wonderful. Yeah, so I got my vinegar in there. Put my top on, you guys. Bam, I got my top on. Now I'm going to turn my heat on. Turn my heat on high. I'm going to keep it on high. Make sure your canner is in the middle of your eye. It's in the middle of my eye. And I'm going to bring you back when this vent pipe right here, this vent pipe right here is going to shoot steam steady. And once this vent pipe starts to shoot steam steady for 10 minutes, that was a mouthful, I will bring you back. This vent pipe has been shooting steam for 10 minutes. Put your weight regulator on. Now I'm going to have to wait until my canner comes up to pressure. This Presto 23 canner, it usually come up to pressure in about 8 or 9 minutes. I need for it to come up to 10 pounds of pressure for my elevation. You can Google and see what your elevation is. Right now, I got my weight regulator on it. I'm waiting for it to come to 10 pounds of pressure, and I'll bring you back. I am at 10 pounds of pressure. I will set my timer now for 90 minutes. I am going to dial my heat back just a tad. It's okay if I stand between 10 and 11 pounds of pressure. I am good. My canner has come down from pressure. My button has fallen. Now it's been sitting here for about 10 minutes. You don't have to rush to go and get your jars out of your canner real quick. So it's been sitting here about 10 minutes because I was a little busy. So you just take the weight regulator off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open my canner. Always open the canner away from you, okay? So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to let that steam out and put it down. So, oh my goodness. Y'all, that was a burst of goodness. Yes, it smells so good. Those meatballs smell so good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this lid off and I'm going to take it to the sink away from me. And now I have my jar lifter, okay? Oh, it smells so good, you guys. So here we go. Look at that goodness. So the meatballs are intact, you guys. So I wouldn't worry about trying to put an egg in there for a binder. You don't need an egg. And the way the prices of eggs are, what? $5 a dozen? You can take that $5 and put it towards something else. Voila! What a beautiful sight. And all of them already sealed, you guys. You can do spaghetti and meatballs. You can do stroganoff. I mean, you can just eat them just like that. So you guys, so I just want to thank you guys for watching and sharing and subscribing. If you have not subscribed, please do so. You guys, I love you. You know I do. Oh, I do this for you. But guess what? I love the Most High more. Shalom.